I now have the privilege of bringing out two individuals who are at the rank of diamond to lead our next panel. And they built that diamond position in 60 days, from the time that they joined until the time that they hit it. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, gosh, I'm already in. I could never beat that. Look, wherever you happen to be, start where you are. If they can do it, you can do it. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Diamonds Aaron and Kathy Parker. Let's go.
All right, let's do this. All right. What's up, Trinot? Woo! Are you guys excited? All right. Man, my wife is hot, you guys. Woo!
Well, I don't know how we're supposed to follow Gina Della.
I know.
Della. I mean,
you're just like laughing and having such a great time with Gina. She is just amazing.
Yeah.
So we are so excited. We're honored. We're grateful to be here. And we are going to be helping you guys learn how to crush it with social media because of some insane experts that are about to come out here and join us. So who wants to up your social media game? Okay? These four individuals collectively have personally enrolled over 200 associates and almost 400 customers.
Woo.
Are you ready to learn some of their secrets? All right, we ready?
We're ready.
Let's bring them out.
Let's bring out these rock
Make
stars.
some noise! All right, honey.
All right, you guys ready for the hot seat? Yes. All right, we're just gonna pass the mic down. We are asking them each the same question so you guys can get a different perspective of each how they build. And of course, they're amazing. They have great tips. So question number one, what is your primary social media platform that you use to get enrollments? And why do you think you've had so much success on that platform specifically?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say, you know that saying of you have to get out of your comfort zone and get uncomfortable to grow? Well, besides getting eaten by a mountain lion or a shark, public speaking is literally my biggest fear. So bear with me. My name is Rihanna Nacosta, and I'm from Modesto, California. I'm a permanent makeup artist, and I have been a permanent makeup artist since 2008. So I love what I do. I love making women feel pretty. For me, it's both platforms. I'm super active on Facebook and Instagram, and so I feel like I've had success with it because I'm consistently sharing mine and my husband's testimonies and our journeys, and I feel like it's really resonating with people. We have products for everybody here, you guys, and people desperately, desperately need our products. And so I'm constantly shouting our testimonies from the rooftops. Really quick, I'll just tell you my husband's. He is a savage beast when it comes to food, seriously. He really struggles with losing weight. He's down 54 pounds. He's a type 2 diabetic. He's off of his metformin pills, you guys. His A1C went from a 9.5 to a 6.3. He's off of his sleep apnea machine. His blood pressure normally runs high. His blood pressure's in the normal range. I'm down over 35 pounds. I'm down tons of inches. My cholesterol normally runs high. That's in the normal range. And so I am just consistently sharing, and I love Telegram. I do. And I think it's great like that we have those graphics to post. It's like we have the most beautiful graphics. But people want to hear from you, and people want to hear your story, and people want to hear you talk because they're going to relate to you more. So.
Woo!
Hi, I'm Emily Barfield.
Woo!
I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I am a stay-at-home mom of 6. I don't have a regular job. That would be my job. But I have found most of my success from Facebook. I feel like other platforms are super busy and overwhelming for me anyways, and I feel like Facebook provides you with a platform where you can really intentionally connect with people, finding them through people you may know, interest groups, or creating reels that go out to a wider audience. And then once you're connected with those people, you're able to build trust and relationships with them through consistently sharing. And so I really feel like that's why I've been able to have success on Facebook, because I've been consistently sharing for the past 9 years. And so I believe if you are willing to put yourself out there and be patient, then anybody could have success using Facebook.
Love it.
Hey, I'm Nicolette Anderson, and I'm from Tampa, Florida, formerly an elementary educator, so teachers in the house, what up? I love Instagram, so I'm a big Instagram fan because I really like getting into stories. Instagram stories are kind of like my business playground, where I can just go in, I can get creative. It's a creative outlet. I like to create really consistent, compelling, and educational stories that are also fun and interactive for the people who are willing to watch. I'm not too worried about the numbers of the people who are watching. Even if there's not many, I want them to be so engaged that they just think of me all the time, right? So I love getting in Instagram stories and just having fun in there, and I pretend like I'm talking to one person, my very best friend. I don't worry about grammar or did I fumble my words. I let my humor out. I speak the way I want to speak. It's not scripted. It is what it is. And so that's how I build trust with people who are willing to tap my little bubble and follow me and see what's up. And they're gonna learn all about Trinant. They're gonna learn all about me and what I love. And through that interaction, even before we speak, it's almost like a relationship has been developed.
Nice. And her stories are good whenever I need inspiration. I'm like, what did Nicolette post today? Let me go see.
Me too. Hey, everybody. I'm Nicole DeShera. Hey, how y'all? So I live in Columbia, Maryland. I'm a mom of 4. I'm an Army mom. My oldest son is U.S. Army. So, shout out to all the military folks in the room. I am, commercial real estate is my professional background, and I have had huge success in the social media space, kind of on all of the platforms, but the major one's been Facebook. And I echo everything that's already been said in terms of the consistency of it all. I think that the ticket for me is value. When you add value, people come back. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I love what Nicolette said. It doesn't have to be, people prefer that it's not scripted, right? They like organic, relatable content. And they also, you have to appeal to the nosiness in people. People are nosy. Some of y'all are nosy, see? So when you invite people into your life, they keep coming back, right? People have grown up with my children. They've watched my kids grow up. And I can tell because when I see people that I've never met in person but that have followed me online, when I finally meet them, they can tell me things about my youngest daughter, my middle daughter, because they've watched them over the years, over a decade. So I think the transparency of letting people into your life and being who you authentically are will bring people to you and help you to find your tribe.
Love it. All right, so a couple quick things. I love what Nicolette said about you're speaking to one person. A lot of times when you're putting out content, you don't want to be like, hey, everyone, or hey, guys. She said, who's she talking to? How many people? So when you're putting out stories, you're putting out content, keep that in mind. Talk to one person. And then also what Nicole was saying, I loved, and that is that people are watching. Even people you don't think are watching, they're watching. And they feel connected to her because she's talking about her life and her story. And so now when she posts something about a business or a product, these people feel like they know her. And so they're gonna be like, well, tell me more. And so just keep that in mind. All right, so and you kind of touched this a little bit, but give everybody like one of your best strategies, something specific that you've done that has helped you enroll a lot of people.
Exactly what was said first. I share my story. And it relates back to what you said around, Aaron, around people feeling like they know you. So then when you invite them into something as personal as your health, they're paying attention. Because health is not a niche, right? The health and wellness space we think of as a niche, but the reality is health is not a niche because it affects us all. If your health is good, you want to keep it that way. You want to maintain it. If your health is bad, you want to fix it. So ultimately, health matters to everyone, right? And so what I have found is if I share my story, and specifically when I think about the posts that get the most engagement, that get the most people talking to me in DMs, they're when I talk about the real impact to my life, right? When you talked about A1C, I'm a diabetic, type 2 diabetic. I know we can't claim to cure or prevent diseases, but I can definitely say I came off the medication, right? And that was important to me. I didn't want to be on medicine if I could help it, right? And my doctor said something powerful to me: you can reverse this. There's some things you can't reverse. If you have it, you have it, right? Diabetes is not like that. In your case, you can reverse this. I remember sharing that and getting a flood of messages from people who said, my doctor's been saying that to me too, or some that said, my doctor never said that to me. They just told me I was diabetic and gave me a prescription, right? And so the empowerment of you can reverse this. You can do something about what is happening to you, right? That's powerful. So when I think about what works, it's sharing my story, but it's also the pain points that people can relate to and see themselves in, and then providing a solution.
That's awesome.
So good. Okay, I'm gonna give you something really tactical. So what helps me sign up a lot of people is organization and relentless follow-ups. And for me, I'll get into lots and lots of conversations, but then I'm like, wait a minute, who was I talking to? And then I get overwhelmed, and then I'm like, well, I haven't responded to her in like 5 days, and now this is awkward. So I like to use Google Forms. Does anybody use Google Drive for business organization? So I use Google Forms, which is a free resource. And I'll give you 3 examples of how I use these forms. So first of all, it's really simple. You just send them a link and they fill out their information to gather information from you, essentially. So we're obviously in a launch season right now. So I used a Google form to collect names and emails of people who were curious about our new products. So now I've got this awesome list of people I can go and message and say, listen, here's what they are. How epic is this? Send them the videos, send them all of the details that we learned this weekend. And then what I'm going to do is the next couple days, because they're obviously not available yet, is use a pre-order form, right? So now I've got my list of really strong leads that I can go message, but now I've got my list of people who I can make carts for the minute that it's available. And these are gonna be my people who are first in line. I'm gonna take good care of them. Another way I like to use Google Forms is I have a free health assessment. This is a great lead generator. So I'll talk about what we do, what we offer in stories, or maybe health issues I've been dealing with. And I'll just say, hey, if you're curious, fill out my free health assessment, and I'll get back to you with recommendations about the products that we have to offer. And they don't have to do anything, they don't have to buy anything, they just answer some questions, and I'm like, hey, listen, here's what I think would be really great for you, take it or leave it, but now they're organized in my Google Forms, and I can remember them, and I can continue to follow up with them as other things come out, or I have different offerings I could present to them. And for associate prospects, I use a Google form to add people to my guest list for business overviews. So instead of just, you want to go to this, I'm like, I would love for you to be my guest. Fill out this quick form, and I'm gonna make sure that you get the access to the Zoom, you get the replay, and you get any other information that you need. So just jump on my guest list. And now all of these people are in Excel spreadsheets on Google. I can, color code things and take notes in the Google spreadsheets, and I'm not good at spreadsheets, but it really is that easy. And they're not gonna fall through the cracks.
Awesome.
Powerful.
So I would say consistency and following up. I think the average person needs like 7 to 12 exposures before they make a decision to buy or join. And so just keeping in mind that every reel that you make, every story that you create, post, even engaging with them on their posts and their stories, those are all exposures and reminders. And so just stay consistent with that and stay in your inbox. And I mean, even if people are not engaging with you, they are watching. If they're ghosting you, they might, they're still reading your messages. So eventually they will join or block you, I guess.
Okay, you guys, for me, it's just being consistent and showing up even when I don't want to. Like, you cannot go live one time or post in your stories of you mixing Activate one time or Mojo one time and think that everybody's gonna know what you're doing and think that they know that you're the go-to for the health products. No, you have to be super, super consistent and just keep posting and showing up every single day. You see some of these leaders in their stories every day, like Heidi and Tina Joy Carroll and Jen, doing the same thing over and over. You guys, the algorithm is super weird. You have to continue to post. Who sees you one day may not see you the next day. Somebody else new is gonna see you the next day. So you just have to keep posting, be super consistent. I will just say, I used to really care what people thought about me, and I used to get scared about what they were saying about me and just who I was bothering. But once I got it out of my head and started focusing on, like, who cares who cares what they're saying about me, and started focusing on who I can help, I think that's when my business changed.
Awesome.
Powerful.
So a couple things I heard right there was follow-up. I have a question for all of you. Everyone, I want you participation here. How many of you joined on the very first exposure? Raise your hand on the first. That's kind of shocking. But okay. But look, it's not that many, right? Maybe 15 people out of the whole room. How many of you joined after the first exposure and follow-ups? Raise your hand. The rest of you. Okay, do you guys know that Tina reached out to me and it took a year of following up before we joined? So am I extremely grateful that she didn't just prospect me once and then never follow up, because we wouldn't be here. So remember that most of the people who are getting started, it happens because of follow-up. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I love that. And you mentioned it as well. Don't just post and pray, because the algorithm is weird. There are days where I don't see Tina's posts, and I miss it, and I see it 3 days later. I'm like, what the heck? How did it not show me that? So you cannot rely on the algorithm. You have to keep showing up and then get in the inbox. Yes. So, all right, third question.
Okay.
If you had no following, right? Blank slate. You had to start all over and you had no network. What is the first thing that you would do, and what is the strategy that you would use to build your network on social media and your following?
Okay. So I would start friend requesting everybody on Facebook, and then I would join groups that I was interested in, like dog groups or traveling or cooking or shopping, and I would start engaging with them in there. And I would eventually lead that to a DM and just ask them questions, show encouragement, because that's gonna open the algorithm. And then once you guys become friends, they're gonna see stuff that you're posting. And for people on my regular feed, once I started building those friendships, I wouldn't just like or love their post. I would like and love their post, but I would also comment. You guys wanna always make sure that you're commenting on their posts and showing encouragement, like, oh my gosh, your baby's so cute, or oh my gosh, I love your dog, because it opens up the algorithm, it makes it feel more personal, and it shows them that you care. And so that was what I would do with Facebook. With Instagram, I would start following people, engaging as much as I could. I would really start commenting on their stories, because that takes you to their DMs, that opens up the algorithm. I would also be posting probably at least 3 reels a day, and I would be posting several stories. And don't just make it all about Trey Knott and all about business, you guys. People wanna connect with you, people wanna hear your life, they wanna see what you're doing, and so that would be what I would do.
Yeah, so I would intentionally add people to my network, and then once we are connected, I would curate my content specifically to them, to speak to them. And then as I would get engagement, I would take those conversations over into, or begin conversations in Messenger, and I wouldn't be afraid to pivot into products and business pretty early on, so that I could kind of qualify them as a lead or somebody I need to love on a little bit more. And I would just have that process and kind of fall in love with it.
Okay, so when I first started, I was a post and prayer. That's what I did. I would post and I'd go run into the other room and scream into a pillow and be mortified and think I'm such a dork. Fortunately, today we have a little something called ChatGPT, which you can leverage to launch killer social media, and it can generate majority of the content and do the work for you. So the 4 things that I would have ChatGPT do for me if I were brand new is help me create my content pillars, which are relevant to your hobbies, your interests, your life phase, and obviously this business, right? Then I would have it generate a Monday through Sunday content plan, which is basically just like a daily theme that you can create posts off of, so posting doesn't feel so overwhelming and random. And then from there, you can have it, listen, based on your voice, your mannerisms, your humor, your faith, your tone, it learns you. It's crazy. You can have it help you generate lead generators, which are basically just some kind of free resource that you can then offer to your audience based on whatever content pillar that you feel like digging into, right? And when you have free value, that means you're gonna be having more people following you back, more conversations getting started, which you can always pivot to health or wealth one way or another. And then the fourth thing that I would do is create some kind of free Facebook community to just funnel all of these people that I'm building relationships and now I have commonalities with, who are interested in my free resources or interested in engaging on my posts, into a free community where we can continue talking, getting to know each other. I could add more value in there. And then what happens is you've got all these people in one space. You know, even if it's 100 people in a Facebook group, now you've got this whole list that you can go and message that you already have touch points with, you're already in conversations with. And how much more simple do you think it would be to then say, you know what, you would absolutely love this thing I'm doing. I need to get you on a business overview. Would you come be my guest and just learn?
I love that. I would echo all the sentiments that were already stated. I would just probably highlight and circle the groups part, because I think we undervalue how powerful groups really are. And for the exact reason that Nicolette just shared, because you have a group of people that are already centered around one commonality, but that doesn't mean it's the only way that you may connect. You may have other things in common. It may be a really good way for you to start conversations around something that you have in common with someone that can be a springboard into other things. But when I think about the best way that I would build if I had to start right from scratch, it would definitely be the things that were mentioned, especially ChatGPT. I was gonna talk about that. But that has been such, and I'm new to it, very new to it, but already I can see the huge benefit, like Nicolette was saying, around the way that can really help you with the language. But the most important thing with the group part is to be intentional about developing trust. That's the absolute thing that makes the difference, because people buy from who they know, who they like, and who they trust. So when we think about building from scratch with people that may not know you, how do you do that? It's a lot easier when you have people, like you said, in one space. So I think Facebook groups are probably one of the things that I would heavily focus on, along with what was already said. And the consistency part, I just want to dive this home. I know you hear that a million times, right? Everybody that asks anything, somehow we always come back to consistency. And I think one of the reasons why it's so important and why I would really focus on it, especially in the group format, like we were talking if I was rebuilding, would be because it isn't just about people developing a knowledge of what you do or about what you offer. It's also about them seeing your buy-in. Consistency is not just about consistently showing a product. It's also about consistently showing your commitment to said product, right? So a lot of times people think, I have to wait until I get my story where it needs to be, till I have a huge testimony. And we've even talked about the power of sharing our testimonies, right? But a lot of times it isn't just about that. People are not just waiting to see how much weight you lose, or whether or not you come off of medication, or whether or not you have, healing from an injury or something. And of course, we can't claim to heal things, but it isn't just about that. It's also about them waiting to see how committed you really are, especially if you've been a person who's done more than one thing. Hello? Is this on? Some of y'all have done more than one thing, right? I have. And sometimes that's the hardest part. If we were talking about rebuilding, and that was the question, if we were talking about starting over at nothing, what you're really talking about is not just showing who you are, it's also showing your commitment, and that builds trust.
I love it. All right. So we got a little bit of time left. We got one more question for these rock stars. I want all of you to understand something, that they're pros and they're crushing it. But there was a time when they were amateurs, and there was a time when Kathy and I, when we were on social and we had no following, we had no network, and guess what they did? They treated social and their business like a real business, and they were consistent, and they became pros. So realize that no matter where you are, you have a small following, a big following, when you start applying all of this consistently, you can become a pro too. Who's excited to become a pro? All right. So last question for you guys is, Give everyone like just one, just like a really quick minute of what would be something they could do right now, they could leave here with, an action item, something to really get into action to get them going on social media.
Tell your story. I don't even have to think about it. Tell your story. Where's Sarah Hollingsworth? Sarah Hollingsworth gave us an incredible training on this. And if you did not take notes, get with somebody who did. If you don't have the screenshots, get with somebody who did and make it your business literally today before you get back home to get something up about your story and to make a personal commitment to revisiting that story regularly. And not just revisiting it for your audience, revisiting it for yourself. Because the more regularly that you check in with your why, the more regularly that you check in with your story, the more you will see your own personal evolution. And that is your biggest billboard. Your personal evolution is your greatest testimony. It's your greatest weapon against fatigue, against burnout, against worrying about the opinions of people. You wanna know how I got over what people care about? How they might be thinking about me? I realized that my story is far too powerful for me to keep to myself for fear of what someone might think. Because for the person who doesn't like it, there's 10 people that relate to it. For the person who thinks that's team too much, there's 15 people who've been through something similar and are terrified to even say it out loud. But then when I do it and I live to tell about it, then all of a sudden, well, I might be able to tell my story and be okay. I might go scream in a pillow like Nicolette when I'm done, but I'll be okay after, right? And when you do it, you show that it can be done and that it can be life-changing. And not just your life, but the life of many, many, many other people. People whose names you don't know today are going to be changed by you telling your story. Woo!
Well, that was awesome. Okay, I want you to make 3 lists of people. While energy is high, before you get on the plane to go home, like while you are who feels more confident and excited and convicted to share this now than ever before? Make some noise. Yes, yes? Okay. With the launch of 3 new products, we basically have a whole entire different opportunity that we get to go offer here, right? So I want you to think about who do you know who could benefit? Because it's different now. Who do you know who would be really good at this as an associate? And who do you know who would be so much fun to do this with? Make a list of as many names as you possibly can in those 3 categories and get in their inboxes. Don't overthink it. Don't wait till you're back home and you've decompressed and then you'll go back to it later. Do it before you get home. While you're excited, write down as many names as possible. And everyone who's viewing your stories this weekend gets a message from you, every single person. If any of you watch my stories, you're probably gonna get a message from me. I'm sorry, you just are. You can say Nicolette Martyrowicz should not shut up. That's fine. You're still getting a message. So message everyone who is watching you this weekend, but don't just wait for the people who are watching and commenting on your posts. Go out and get the people who would be fun to do this with, who could benefit, who would be really, really great at this.
Yeah, I mean, I think just stop overthinking the content piece. I mean, share your story has been a common theme. And not only that, like, what makes you unique and different? What are your quirks? Like, my husband and I did this unboxing video where I put my arms in his shirt and was behind him, and he was talking, and we were unboxing, and it was ridiculous. But it got a ton of views. And I don't know, just be yourself. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and that's going to attract a lot of people. So.
Okay, so yes, tell your story, you guys. People want to hear from you, but my biggest thing is be yourself. When I am in my stories or I am going live, you guys, it's not scripted. I just roll with it, even if it looks messy. Like about a week ago, I had a laser skin peel. Like, do not ask me why I did it like a week ago before convention. But I did. I went onto my story and started talking about Activate. I had 3 eyelashes on. I had skin hanging from my face. My neck was so bad from the laser, it looked like a chicken's neck. I got 2 customers from that story. So you just have to go out there and be yourself. I also am a TMI type of girl, you guys. You just never know what's gonna come out of my mouth, and I feel like people can relate to that. If you feel like you have to be perfect all the time, some people might think like, oh my gosh, she's being too perfect, like I don't relate to that. So just show up no matter what, even if it's messy, because that's when people are gonna really relate to you. And then that's when you guys are gonna build your business. So,
Woo! You have anything?
Amazing. All right, who's going to take action? is going to tell their story. Who's downloading ChatGPT? Yes.
I want to say one more thing, you guys. I have an example of what I was just sharing. Veto Padilla, where are you at, girl? Okay, if you guys aren't following her, you guys need to be following her. She is a perfect example of being herself, being authentic all the time. She shows up, she's mixing up her mojo, she's praising Jesus, she's doing her little funny dance reels. She does not care what people think about her, and people are so drawn to her. Her business is absolutely exploding because she is herself and she is genuine. So,
Love it. Oh, you got one? You got one? Oh, we got one. Pass it down real quick.
Pass it down.
Real quick, and this is also tied to leadership. Talking about doing it messy. I do my stories every morning. Tina Joy Carroll was my blueprint. Before I knew her and had ever talked to her, when I first joined, I saw she was on her stories making Activate every day. So I wrote down everything she was saying and I started doing it. I haven't missed a day since I joined in September, right? I have people on my team that have followed the same blueprint. Well, one day recently I was really in a whirlwind of things, trying to get ready to come here, and I'm a single parent. I've got 3 teenage girls at home, and it's just chaotic. But I still was committed to showing up on my stories. I literally didn't have time to make my Activate on my stories the way I do. So I made it, put it in my to-go cup, ran out the door, and while driving, hands-free, but while driving, hands-free, I recorded my stories, talked about what was in my drink, and also talked about joining my team, becoming my customer. Same format, just without making the thing on the live, right? Not only did I get 2 customers from that exercise, but the bigger win, in my opinion, was I saw one of my team members who started out on fire. She was my first associate. Azzy, if you're watching, I love you. She was my first associate, had started out on fire, went through a series of things, started a new job, and just I saw her kind of starting to wane. Literally, I saw her do the exact same thing. I was busy. I just started a new job. I didn't have time to do this at home, but I just wanted to tell y'all real quick about what's in my to-go cup as she's on her way to work. And we didn't talk about it. She saw me do it, and she copied the right cat. So you want to make sure that you're leading by example, and that means even if it's messy, even if it's after a chemical peel or whatever, get out there and do it, because that will show the people that are watching, not just your customers, but also your business partners. No excuses. Team, no excuses. You have results, you have excuses, you don't have both. If you want results, give up the excuses, but you have to show them that, right? Lead by example.
Love it. All right, guys, really quick. So we got to wrap this up. You have still a lot of time today. Make sure you're getting videos, you're getting pictures. You can batch content. You can use, these ladies do this so well. Over the next weeks and months, they're gonna still be posting stuff from this event. Make sure you're getting that content, use it on your socials. And one big thing that changed our business was not caring what people think. You heard it from these experts. It was a major shift for us from being broke and busted and struggling in network marketing to becoming 6- and 7-figure earners was when we made that shift. Don't care what people think. Be excited when you're on social. Would you agree that they're excited? Okay, so your energy that you bring to social, whether it's a live or a reel or a video or just even words, they can tell your energy in those words. So make sure you bring the energy to your social. And I have one last question. Would you agree that this event is bringing more confidence and excitement and belief to you and your business?
Yeah.
So guess what you need to do? You need to get registered for TLA, bring your team. Who's gonna be in Vegas with us? Let's go! Give it up for these rock stars! Thank you, guys.